Hello and welcome to the world of Final Fantasy XIV. In this video, we hope to help provide more information on creating your character, focusing on the different playable races and clans that you pick from when starting out. But before we jump into that, if you're watching this video as a precursor to picking up the game, let me tell you about the Endless free trial. If you're still on the fence, you should check this out and play it for yourself. You can play this game up to level 35 on all the different starting jobs without the need to subscribe to the game, and when you're ready to do so, all your progress carries over. It really is a generous deal because it gives you a lot of playtime and you can really experience the world of Eorzea for yourself. So do yourself a favor and go and download it today. Okay, so picking a race. So the first thing you should know about this game is that your race is 100% cosmetic. It doesn't really impact you in any way. There isn't any race that's better at any one playstyle than any other race. Plus there is an item called Fantasia, which can be used to change your race as you progress through the game. So there might be a temptation to roll in a new character sometime between the levels of 30 and 49, and the best advice I can give you is don't. At least wait until you've passed level 50, but because you can play all the different classes and jobs on the same character, there really isn't a need to do this in Final Fantasy XIV. So anything you might not be completely satisfied with in this game can be changed without having to start over from the beginning. So it's also important to know that Final Fantasy XIV has a deep and rich story. The lore in this game is vast, and that's what the rest of this video is going to focus in on. The history and lore of the different races and their clans. Whether you're a role player or not, this is to hopefully help give you the information about the different races and clans to allow you to hopefully make a good decision when starting the game, just so that you can build the best character that you can build. So let's first start with the human-like race, the Hyr. The Hyr arrived in Eorzea prior to the first Astral Era, when they were but one undistinguished race among many. 3 great migratory waves later, the Hyr spread from the northeast reaches of Ilsabard to the corners of the realm, expanding their presence and influence to become Eorzea's predominant race, a position they maintain to this very day. As they settled in new frontiers, the Hyr often found themselves in conflict or even outright war with the other native peoples of the lands. Still, none can deny that the knowledge, technology, and ideas they brought with them have served as the driving force behind the rapid spread of culture and civilization in Eorzea. So there are 2 clans for the Hyr, the Midlanders and the Highlanders. So first, the Midlanders, they settled in the realm's low-lying regions, the most populous clan of the most populous race, comprising over half of all Hyr. Midlanders can be found in city-states and villages the realm over, earning them their keep in a variety of trades and vocations. A highly cultured people, they have traditionally compensated for their lack of exceptional physical prowess with enterprise and ingenuity, continuing the great advances in all manners of disciplines. Indeed, many of the realm's greatest inventors and innovators have been Midlanders. With some exceptions, a comparatively large number of Midlanders are educated in letters from a young age, giving rise to a healthy population of academics and intellectuals. Now, Highlanders claim the High Mountains as their home, descendants of a people who followed the stars of the mountains of Garabania in the wake of the 6th Umbral Calamity. The Highlanders founded the city-state of Almingo, a bastion of military might until its fall to the Garlean invasion 2 decades ago. Many stayed behind and now live a toilsome life under the yoke of their imperial masters. While those that fled their homeland now live as refugees in Eorzea, their numbers are great in the Shroud and even greater in Thanalan, where their presence has resulted in no small degree of strife. Among the refugees are those who have put their considerable martial talents to use as sellswords and gladiators. Now for the elf-like race, the Elzen. According to their own histories, the Elzen are the original inhabitants of Eorzea, having called the realm home since the first Astral Era, a heritage they take pride in to this day. In those bygone times, they lived the pastoral life in the vast, fertile plains, but were displaced to outer reaches as their hereditary lands were overtaken by the Hyr, who had migrated to the realm in great numbers. Time and again, they waged a bloody war against their Huron invaders. In time, however, the 2 races came to a mutual understanding and they live in a harmonious coexistence to this day. Valuing discipline and order above all, and with a natural proclivity for organization and collaborative effort, the Elzen made great contributions in the founding of the city-states of Ishgard and Gridania. That these great nations still stand strong centuries later is a remarkable testament to the Elzen talent for governance. On the other hand, their preoccupation with history and tradition, tendency to relive past glories, and propensity for pretentious speech can occasionally alienate them from other races. So the two clans that make up the Elzen are the Wildwood and the Duskwhite. The ancestors of the Wildwood Elzen were displaced from their ancestral homes on the plains when the Hurons came, migrating in parts to Korthus, where they established the nation of Isgard, and in part to the Shroud, where they formed the nation of Gelmora, an ancient subterranean state that predates Gridania. Though nowadays the Wildwood is typically used to refer to the forest-dwelling Elzen, the Elzen of Ishgard too shared the same common ancestry. As such, Gridania and Ishgard have traditionally enjoyed close relations, with each nation readily coming to the other's aid in times of need. Now making their home in the deep forest valves and covens for centuries, the Duskwhite Elzen are descendants of those who parted ways with their brethren after the founding of Gridania, choosing instead to remain in the stone-hewn chambers of Gelmora, or to seek out new subterranean sanctums. Shunning the fetters of governance and society, the great majority of Duskwhite keep a wide berth of the city-states, and some even resorting to bigotry as a means of survival. As a result, they are often looked upon with scorn by the citizens of Gridania, and those who have chosen to make their home in the city often suffer undue discrimination at the hands of their neighbors. The Lalafell were originally an agrarian people hailing from the southern isles. The Lalafellan gradually migrated to Eorzea over years in pursuit of trade. In the 5th Astral Era, they played a key role in the foundation of the city of Nim on Villebran, as well as the mystic city of Mok in the lowlands of Yafem. When both civilizations fell to the 6th Umbral Calamity, the Lalafell were forced to seek a new home. The Nemean Lalafells employed their seafaring talents and returned to the South Sea Isles, where the survivors of Mok wandered the lands before eventually settling in the wastes of Thanalin. Seen in the greatest numbers on Vibran, the Plainfolks trace their history to the maritime traders who settled in Limsa Lominsa to deal in pillaged and plundered wares. In the years that followed, they were joined by their families who would become pioneers on the greater La Nasian region. While their descendants today are predominantly farmers, there are those who turned to shipping and fishing in those years, when skirmishes with the Kobolds stalled further exploration on the continent. Today, the Plainfolks represent a significant part of the Limsan populace, and they are known for their relaxed and comfortable lifestyle. The sons of the fallen Mok concealed themselves in remote islands for a time before venturing into Thanalin on caravans propped on the backs of great beasts of burden. Living a nomadic existence in the sandy wastes, they came to be called by the name they bear today. It was the Dunes folk who founded the great civilization of Behaladia, which would later splinter into Sildia and Ul'dah, the later of which prospers still today. Practical by nature and swift to put ideas into action, their temperament is well suited for seizing business opportunities. And it is little surprise that they placed with such great role in building Ul'dah into the bustling center of trade and commerce that it is today. The Miqo'te are descendants of a hunting people that crossed over the frozen seas to Eorzea in search of prey during the Age of Endless Frost. When famine gripped the land, cleaving to their old ways of life, they have largely accepted their status as one of Eorzea's less populous races. Fiercely territorial and proud of their traditions, it could be said that the Miqo'te are unsuited for life in city-states. Nevertheless, as a natural-born hunters given to the nomadic lifestyle, many Miqo'te have achieved great success as adventurers. Unsurprisingly, giving their self-bestowed clan name, the Seekers of the Sun count numerous devotees to Asmia the Warden among their ranks. While their overall numbers are not great, their 26 tribes are scattered across all reaches of the realm, with small seeker settlements to be found from the sands of the Segoli Desert in southern Thanalin to the jagged peaks of Yerebania. Yet other seekers have settled in Limsa Lominsa to draw on the freedom of the pirate life. Many seekers, particularly those of the younger generation, choose to set off as adventurers, perhaps heeding the same call of the wild that their ancestors once heard. As might be surmised from their self-chosen name, the majority of the Keepers of the Moon are devout followers to Menfina. They reside and hunt freely in the Shroud, where for many years they came in conflict with the people of Gridania, who saw the Keepers as little more than poachers. In recent years, however, the two sides have reconciled their differences, and today many Keepers hunt in accordance with the rules set by the Trappers League, bartering the furs and meats they procure for agricultural goods and essential commodities. Others, however, refuse to bend to these rules, poaching the woods and laying waste to the natural environment as they see fit. The Roegadyn are a maritime folk hailing from the bleak isles of the northern Empty, their name meaning people of the rain. They still maintain a strong presence in their ancestral home on and around Aethersent, first land in the Old Tongue, whence many Roegadyn fled several centuries ago to free themselves from a reign of a tyrant. As is often told, they came ashore in Vibran, and the city of Limsa Lominsa rose to prosperity not long thereafter. Many years prior to this, an entirely different group of Rohirrim had crossed over the continent and settled in the mountains, where their descendants, the Hellsguard, reside to this day. So descendants of the pirate clan long feared as the scourge of the Northern Empty, the sea wolves hail from the northern islands. Though many live there still today, a non-significant number left their homeland 7 centuries ago, eventually settling in Vibran. There they established the maritime city-state of Limsa Lominsa, where it prospered and it took place as one of Eorzean's great city-states. True to their seafaring roots, many of the sea wolves have made their mark as pirates, sailors, and fishermen. Most famous of them of all is none other than Merewib, Admiral of Limsa Lominsa. Few in number, but bearing a fierce pride as warriors, the Hellsguard make their home in the desolate reaches of Apalathia's Spine. Their name is derived from the fiery peaks amidst which they founded their village, mountains of flame which they believe to be the gates to the underworld itself. Ari creation myth tells of a world formed by the Dawnfather Azim and the Dusk Mother Nahmia. These two deities came and quarreled over which should rule the new world, and they created mortals to serve as soldiers in their war by proxy. These were the first Ahra, the Rain, children of the Dawnfather, and the Axia, the chosen of the Dusk Mother. Though they waged a bitter struggle in the name of their creators, they eventually put aside their differences and learned to love one another, giving birth to a new generation. On seeing this, Azim and Nahmia returned to the heavens, leaving the world below in the custody of their children. Believing themselves to be children of the Dawnfather, the forebears of Rain left behind their homeland to settle across Othard. They were received with hatred and hostility by the other races in the early years, until a prominent warlord of Yanxia, impressed with their valor, forged an alliance with these strange race and took them on as retainers. Before long, the Rain had assumed a predominant role as warriors in service of countless great warlords. Some ventured across the sea to the Far East, where they earned the reputation as legendary swordmasters. Now, the children of the Dusk Mother of Ari creation, the Xel'ya, have to this day not abandoned their ancestral home, living a nomadic life as hunters and gatherers on the vast Azim steppe. With suitable grazing land sparse, conflict between individual tribes is common, and tribes forming, disbanding, and dying off in a ceaseless cycle of war and bloodshed. At last observation, Xel'ya tribes numbered 51, though there is a high likelihood that recent splittered and merged tribes have rendered that count outdated. And with that, we have our playable races. Hopefully this has been interesting information to give you an interesting idea about which race to pick. There are no bad choices here. Go nuts. Have fun. And if you don't like what you end up with, remember again, you can always grab that vial of Fantasia and change it later. There is a lot to love about Final Fantasy XIV. There's a lot to dive in. This game is deep, rich, and vast, and I highly encourage you to do so. Anyway, for Work to Game, my name is Brian. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I really love engaging with people about this game and about really any other game for that matter. But regardless, please let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if there's anything that I can help you out with when starting out in this game, please let me know. And we'll be working on various guides to really kind of dive into the history and lore of Final Fantasy XIV as it relates to picking classes, races, jobs, playing this game just straight outright. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps spread the word about these videos. Subscribe to us if you have not already. We really want you a part of the workforce. But regardless of what you decide to do, I really hope you have a fantastic day and take care. Hey buddy. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You. Yes. You on YouTube. You. Look into my eye. Look into the feasting eye of Charles Gubu, aka Chuck. Listen, I totally know you want to hit that subscribe button. It's really important you do. Trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it. The eyes don't lie. Okay, all right. Good talk. Good talk. Oh, and thanks to our patrons. You guys are amazing. Gubu, Chubu, out.